Come on, man. Go for it, dude.
It's Friday. Friday. Day.
Marcamon replaced him, and for Cruz Azul, for all the good things that have happened, I mean, they are rock bottom right now. De La Vega! Oocha-magooch! All creatures great and small! The Sounders have kicked the extra points!
Well, stop what you're doing. If you're in the other room, come on back to the television. You have to see the goal that Pedro de la Vega just scored. We're all dancing right now. Lumen Field has popped off. This ball is a fantastic ball, but nobody in their right mind takes it first time across their body and strikes it with such pinpoint accuracy.
Yep, Max and Dunny, AppleTV, and Leagues Cup. So it was that kind of a night for Cruz Azul last night at Lumen, and probably the price tag for Pedro de la Vega just went up. John, hear you there. It's a Friday, and it's going to be big on MLS and Leagues Cup. Gio Savarese set to join us at 10 o'clock. Executive Director of the Leagues Cup, Tom Mayo, set to join us at 11. Yes, we're going long. And then after that, we sprint off and catch up with the conference call with Atlanta United 2 as they get ready to take on Messi and Friends 2 this Sunday. We'll have that one for you on the network. 6:30 pregame, 7 o'clock or 7:03 kick. Jason will have the call for you from the at the Erector set. And so we will catch up with interim head coach Jose Silva. Nick Sessick, I believe, is going to be our player. You'll hear from them in the pregame show. And so busy weekend, one and all, as we break everything down. Thanks for hanging out with us, Morning Lokeville. And yes, it is a TGIF. In addition to Coach and addition to Tom Mayo, we're going to drift through the rest of what happened yesterday in Leagues Cup. Get you ready for what's going on today. Go through all the gossip, the rumors, the reports, the things, anything on your mind as we get you ready for the weekend. And we'll see if we can catch up with our friends from Beyond Goals Mentoring if they're not turning the world to the side of likeness and good at 9:30. And we'll see what's going on there once we can pin them down and find out what's going on in the world of Beyond Goals Mentoring, Greg Garza and Michael Parkhurst. So that's the show this morning. And, yeah, it was a long night. You know, and God bless the folks that put the juice boxes together, at least for us, as we sit there and look at composites. I came back and I looked at the juice boxes from overnight in Leagues Cup, and the grid had stopped at 2-0 Seattle. That was not how the match finished, but that was where the grid stopped until I hit refresh. 7-0 on the night at a plus 184. They were the dog in this one. Seattle was the dog at home against Cruz Azul, and they decided to put 7 on the board. Thanks for dropping by. And so if you're looking for clubs to keep an eye on in the standings right now, Seattle full points plus 7. They might be the top seed by the time it's done, as long as they can continue to navigate what they have done here as the 13 seed going up against the 1 in Cruz Azul. Yamar, Vargas, Ferreira, Di Rosario, De La Vega did not start. De La Vega 2 goals in 15 minutes, and then Nuhu scored in the 88th to make it 7. Lineups on the night as we kind of look through and see. Up top, it was Sepulveda, Paradela, and Rodriguez. On the bench, You had folks like Matty Bogusz, Gudinho, Samano, Garcia, Levy, Velasquez. You had a 193 on the board for Cruz Azul. You had a 193, a 214, and a 194 on the bench for Cruz Azul. Notice I'm leaving a name out. 7-0 by the time it was done. And just so I can look at juice boxes and chase after everything and go, and we will post the conversation on social media later today and tomorrow about what Nico said about Pedro de la Vega and Atlanta United's interest in him. But like I said, I think the price tag mileage has gone up after last night. The over-under at 6.5, by the way, in the composite, courtesy of our friends at Odds Portal, plus 1625. And there were only 2 juice box purveyors that decided to go that high with their number. Plus 1625 on the board. And it was a 7-0 win. You heard Max Bretos, they kicked the extra point. He and I need that from our Florida State Seminoles this season, and it looks like Thomas Castellanos isn't really making a whole lot of friends. The late night match also had 7 goals on the board. LAG and Xolos, but it was 5-2 by the time it was done. Nascimento scored on a PK in the 17th. The first 45 minutes on the late night, it definitely was Leagues Cup After Dark. Nascimento scores from the spot. Mora scores to tie it at 1. Gabriel Peck scores from a distance. He launched from about 22 and got it past the keeper to make it 2-1. That was the score at the break. Mora got his brace in the 59th to make it 2-2. Paintsel in the 65th. Marco Royce in the 82nd. Paintsel again at 90 plus 1. And you end up with LAG going plus 3 and getting full points as well. But like I said, everybody right now, they are chasing Seattle. LAG, by the way, was a minus 105. And if you looked at the over-unders there as well in the matchup with LAG, let's go to 6.5 and see what the number was. And it was plus 900. Not as bad as, not as bad as the other matchups. Plus 6.5, 3 juice box purveyors punched that plus 900 number and posted it on the board. So that is, in fact, where we were. But we did have Leagues Cup After Dark last night with LAG and Xolos and with Cruz Azul and with Cruz Azul and putting up a goose egg, and Seattle putting 7 on the board by the time they were done. So last night, the earlier games, Colorado scores at the death to knock off Santos Laguna 2-1. Red Bulls get 1 goal on the board. That's all they needed to knock off Chivas 1-0 at home in New Jersey. Juarez, by the way, put up 4 on Charlotte at B of A as Team 32. Madsen scores in the 7th and the 21st, so he ended up getting 2 before halftime. Mosqueda scored at 45 plus 2. You don't give up goals like that right at the end of the half. And sure enough, you did, is your Charlotte. 3-1 at the break as Toklamati scored and almost got the Nuhu hat trick. He would have had an assist, but he ended up with a goal and a red. So Toklamati not available to Charlotte in match number 2 in Leagues Cup. And so Estupiñán scores in the 90th to make it 4-1 as they were going after a Charlotte team that was playing with 10. So Juarez, full points and a plus 3 on the board. Then you also had Cincinnati and Monterrey at TQL. Cincinnati was the road team in this designation, but you end up with Cincinnati a 3-2 win as Pavel Buka scores in the 90th to give him a little extra distance. Berterame scores at 90 plus 4 to trim it to 3-2. Evander, Canales, Orejano, Buka, Berterame, 3-2. Cincinnati gets the win. Full points and a plus 1 for them to get the win. So you end up with wins. Cincinnati full points plus 1. Juarez full points plus 3. Red Bulls win full points plus 1. Colorado full points plus 1. Seattle full points plus 7. LAG full points plus 3. 6 matches tonight, and it is the beginning of match day 2. And we'll get into the juice boxes here since we're going to go ahead and be like all Leagues Cup all the time as we get into the rest of the day, and since we're kind of riffing here now, and it will be interesting, intriguing, and otherwise rocking and rolling. All right, so much for juice boxes. We'll go to Maddie, is getting ready for Children's Healthcare of Atlanta training ground because there's like practice and stuff going on. And she got her coffee. She's got her coffee.
Coffee's been found, and everything's great.
Okay.
Great.
All right. Before we get into match day 2 for Atlanta United, you have a very, very busy day ahead of you, starting there and heading over to the oracle of soccer watching in the United States, according to some. So you've got a very, very busy day. For folks that wish to follow you, they can't be there with you at the Children's Healthcare of Atlanta training ground. But if they want to go to the next stage to be a part of Summer Series, where do they go?
Well, it's a busy day for all fronts. We're here right now, so getting ready for that. And then it's actually great because it's the one time, like in a while, where I actually get to see my family. So I get to go get lunch with my dad, which is awesome. So very, very great with that. And then afterwards, I'm going to the brew house. And I'm going to do that. And
do you have your air conditioning on?
Huh? I do have my air conditioning. Hold on, let me turn it off. Boom. There we go.
There we
Better
go.
Now?
Better now.
Okay, so basically, then afterwards from 4 to 9, we're gonna be at the brew house for summer of footy. Basically, an event to be put on. We're gonna have so much fun stuff there. At around 5:15, 5:30, I'm gonna be interviewing some fans of each of the teams competing in the summer series. So that'll be West Ham, Bournemouth, Man United, as well as Everton. We'll be interviewing each of those fans, getting you ready for the matchup. It's going to be a lot of fun. We'll have the Premier League trophy there, which right now, as a Newcastle fan, especially with the way preseason's going, that might be the closest we ever get to it right now. I could be eating my words, but I don't know anymore. I don't even know what's happening over at Newcastle anymore. But that's not the point, because Newcastle's not competing in the summer series right now. So I don't even need to worry about that. But Premier League trophy is going to be there, and then at around 7:30, Wes Brown is going to be there as well, and Kevin Egan will be hosting that interview as well. But we're also going to have an interview with Wes Brown on the SDH network too. But yeah, it's going to be a fun evening of just celebrating soccer and getting things ready, especially with the Premier League and everything. It's going to be fun.
Yep, Liverpool is preparing a second offer for Alexander Isak, by the way. Rejected the opening offer at 110 plus add-ons, which fell short of the 120 million in total. Newcastle do not plan to sell Isak without having a replacement signed. They do not want to sell, according to our friends at Sky. But if they were to receive an acceptable offer, it would only be subject to them having signed a replacement. So,
I don't want to talk about it. We're not going to. We don't know. Everything's fine. Everything's fine. Everything's fine. Yeah, everything's fine. I don't want to. No one's going to say anything. Everything's fine. Don't worry about it.
All right. Now that you've had time to digest what happened in match week 1, Atlanta United heading to Central Florida for a matchup tomorrow, and it's the back end of a doubleheader. I fear for what the grass surface in the Purple Barn is going to be, considering it will be August, it will be Central Florida, it will be late afternoon, early evening, and it will be the second match of the day. But what has the vibe been like getting ready for match day 2 for Atlanta United?
Yeah, I'm also nervous about the weather, because if you look at the weather, it looks like Orlando is going to, especially with the time of the year that we're at, especially in Central Florida, you're looking at possible thunderstorms as well. And looking at the forecast, things could change. But, so you might be getting to hear me and Abe on the radio a lot longer than you think you are, which is a blessing and a curse sometimes, because then we'll be left to our own devices. But no big deal. You're getting ready to play Pumas. I mean, they're a very, very good side. And it's one of those things where you just have to continue and bounce off and continue to get better with what you did well in that game against Necaxa. I thought, again, it was some of the best we've seen this team play against Necaxa. And then for me, again, it's those small mistakes. It's those small mistakes that can't happen. It's the same thing we talked about against Seattle. It happened again. It's those small mistakes that can't happen. You cannot allow for Necaxa to get that turnover, to get that opportunity to go break the other way. And it's cleaning up those mistakes, and it's individual mistakes. It's not a full team issue right now. I thought you had really good performances from a lot of players. Alexi Miranchuk has been outstanding in the last couple of games. I thought Miguel Almiron also had a really good game as well. I thought Ronald Hernandez had a great game. And Sleesh and Muyamba, that pairing, Luke Brennan, I mean, outstanding, having those moments. You're seeing those relationships connect really well. You got to make sure that you keep stuff out of the back of the net, though, and that's the small mistakes. You cannot let those things happen, and that has to be switched on. That has to be better going into Pumas because, again, we also know that, especially with the way Leagues Cup has been going, a lot of these things, you're forming some rivalries a little bit. The Santos and Colorado game, I did not expect that to be a rivalry, but now it is because they could not stand each other. Then he had Chris Armas hyping up the crowd, and I was like, Chris Armas is wanting the chaos. He's inviting it to him. But you also have to be able to keep your head on straight. I mean, there's been a couple of red cards thrown. A lot of those things, you try to keep your emotions at bay there because that's going to be key as well, especially because you might be playing on a surface that has been played on a little bit. What will that terrain look like? If it's raining, you're also going to deal with that condition as well. You're not at the bends. You don't have a little roof. So that doesn't help us there. But you're going to be in the weather. So you have to deal with the rain. How does the ball skip? How does that work? How to use it to your advantage and stuff like that. So there are a lot of factors going into it. But if you're Atlanta United, you have to limit and you have to minimize and completely get rid of those small mistakes that you're making. And you got to be switched on at all times.
Okay, so Orlando, Florida, as I go to our friends at weather.com, let's see. So hourly, heat advisory, what a shock. Let's see, going down to 7, 8, 9 o'clock. Let's see, tomorrow. So we do the 10-day, still a heat advisory, and it looks like it is a high of 95, a low of 77, 58% chance of afternoon thunderstorms. Winds from the west-southwest at 9 miles an hour. And so that is the rundown for the moment when it comes to the matchup involving Atlanta United and Pumas being the matchup du jour coming up on Saturday. So that's kind of what we're staring at. But yeah, we mentioned before you came on this morning, Seattle putting 7 on Cruz Azul. And we got our Leagues Cup after dark. We finally got our Leagues Cup after darkness, and we got that with 7 goals in LHG and Cholos and 7 goals in Seattle against Cruz Azul.
I turned off my I was on the which match was I on? The other late night, LA Galaxy. I was on that matchup, and I turned to go check the other one, and I saw it was 0-0 at the half. I turn on my phone and I go to FootMob, and I look and I went 7-0. I was like, oh my gosh. Mm-hmm. Seattle said, we're going to just crank up the dial meter and we're going to go full 100 down the highway and we're not going to slam on the brakes. And I said, okay, fair enough.
Mm-hmm. I'll give you one guess as to who was not even in the match day roster for Cruz Azul last night.
Let me guess.
Mm-hmm.
Is his name two of the same letters?
Yeah. Does it rhyme with Rorgus Rakarakis? Yes.
Is he injured?
No.
No.
That I'm aware of.
Interesting.
I believe he wishes for an egress, as the kids say.
Got it.
And I
was curious if he would be on the roster or not, especially I was curious if he would be.
Yeah. No, he was not on the game day last night, and you had 3 kids who had triple digits. So they were on the game day roster last night.
Well, but, John's standing up now. Okay, we're getting real serious if John's standing up.
Well, no, there's a question to the floor that has to be answered about. There's a question to the floor that has to be answered about your appearance later today. Well, no, it is a production question, and so I had to just double check for the answer. It has to do with equipment that you may need later today. And so I just had to make sure that I had the equipment that was left over. But no, I have your board, by the way, for every activity later. Since one board is heading to Orlando, and I have the other board, and so it's heading to Brewhouse tonight. So
I don't think I need a board, do I?
No, but you need a microphone.
I have a mic.
I have a stick mic. It says. Well, it's so the notation is take your board tonight. Maddie will use it for the Q&A portion starting just after 5.
Oh, well, okay. I guess we're using it. I was not told this.
Well, like
All
I
right,
said,
cool.
so
Yeah,
I've got a stick, and so that's coming, and so that'll be there for you when you have your Q&A. So
I love it. Okay, cool. You know, I also have my Newcastle kit that's hanging in my back seat. Got this, guys. Listen, the Alex will like this as well. I listen. Because basically, listen, Alex, I went to Dick's because I was like, you know what? It's on clearance. I need to get a Newcastle kit, and it's the red and the blue one. I can't reach back all the way to get it. There's
why
no
not?
way. Yeah, I can't. There's no way. Hold
Well,
on.
you know,
Actually,
well, I was going to say, you know, what you could do is you could, unhook yourself from your seatbelt.
hold on. Hold on. We did it. All right. This kit, the beauty.
Ooh,
She's been bought. And guess how much it was at Dick's?
$12.
Close. You got the under. It was $17.
Nice.
Yeah, because
Okay.
I went and it was on clearance online. So it was like 36, and I was like, oh, okay, you know what? Like 36, cool, whatever. Like that's fine. I go up to the counter to go scan out, and she goes, oh, it was 75% off. I went,
Wow.
so yeah, I got this kit that's normally 120, 100.
Move the decimal point. Move the decimal point over one.
Literally. She's kind of nice too. This was the one that I kind of wanted too because it's different, and I also really liked it because it's a different color scheme. But I do have to actually get at some point I have to get the original at some point. I want to get like a vintage one though. Like I want to get a vintage one. Oh, what was the? Yeah, I want to get a vintage one very, very badly. Yeah.
So yeah, Alex paid 24 for his for
Yeah,
one of the
like it was not bad. Dick's is very, very good for jerseys. There was a lot of them too. There was a couple of like they had a Real Madrid. They had
that doesn't work at the
Tottenham.
brew house. Later today, that doesn't work for you at the brew house.
No, it doesn't work at the brew house for me, unfortunately. But no, and then they had the Spurs. They have the Spurs there. They had a Man United kit. They had Man City. They had Holland jerseys, all that stuff. But yeah, and they had a whole bunch of Inter Miami stuff, which I mean makes sense. Then you had Atlanta United stuff. Obviously, you had all those kits too. But yeah, found this one hidden. I didn't know if there would actually be one, and I found it, and now it's in my car and in my possession. So we're wearing it later tonight.
Well, and so then do you want me to bring my Bournemouth material for you to wear as well during the segment?
Whoa, you have Bournemouth gear?
Yeah.
I mean, sure. I mean, the more gear, the merrier, I guess.
Okay.
I mean, we're celebrating summer footy. Let's do it. YOLO.
Okay.
You only live once. Why not?
Yeah. So and so Abby's correcting us. It is Messi and Friends, and yeah, Alex is
Messi
definitely yes. Vintage is hard. There are a lot of fakes.
Yes.
There are absolutely true, and so you got to be careful with those. But unless you know going in that it's a fake and you don't care that you drop like $15 on something that's a knockoff.
Yeah, it's one of those where like if I get something that's really cool and vintage, I would want it for sure. But I also like know that's probably gonna be more like a fake. And like if I'm paying like 15 for it, cool. I don't care. I'm just the ones where I will get caught where it says it's vintage and they pay a lot more for it, and then it's actually not vintage and it's fake. That I won't do. I would just go to a regular site and I'd get something for like that. But yeah, I know. Listen, getting an Exec jersey though right now maybe isn't the best idea right now.
Well, yeah. So if you got your ESOC jersey, just wait a little bit longer, and then you might be able to get it, and then moving the decimal point.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, seriously, especially with the deal not going through, because it makes it hard, especially with the fact that if you're looking for another striker, I get it. You're looking for somebody new to come fill it in, but you reject the offer and you're still in moments. And like, if you can't find somebody right now, Exec is still there. If Exec wants to move, which I believe from reports he does, and then now it creates a bit of weird tension and a bit of a weird vibe. And it's just, it's weird. It's a weird one. I saw that he was being rumored to be gone, and then I saw this morning that the offer was rejected, and I said, "Oh no, okay. So who's going to be our striker then? We got to get someone to score."
Yeah, quoting Keith Downey at Sky, they had the money to spend and were looking to add a keeper, central defender, right winger, and a forward. They've only added a right winger in the form of Anthony Elanga. If ESOC goes, they would need another forward. They will not let him go until they have a top-level replacement. By my last count, according to Downey, 8 players they've lost out on. Houston, Lap, Joao Pedro, the list goes on. The one at the top of the list right now is RB Leipzig's Benjamin Seschko. There is internal fear that he prefers a move to Manchester United, end quote.
That's the issue. Like, you can't. That's why it's an issue right now. I understand, you're getting players, all that stuff. You win some, you lose some, but you've been out of 8 already. Like, you gotta, we gotta start ranking things up here. You gotta start bringing in some players, especially before the season starts, because I think for me, our biggest need right now is people up top. You need someone who can score and go in. I felt like last season, for me at least, I felt like defensively, like, maybe wasn't 100% our issue at all. For me, a lot of the times it felt like scoring was an issue. And, Zach helped fill that for a while, and he still has. He's a great scorer for us. We need, I think, some more firepower up top, especially now that if Zach wants to go, that needs to be your top priority, is finding someone who can get up top and score. That's got to be number one. So I love that this turned into a Newcastle talk. But anyway.
Well, but I mean, it's one of the big stories in all of football at the moment. So no, it makes perfect sense. Do you need to go to practice?
Do I need to go to practice?
I don't know. It's 9:30.
I mean, Jason's not here yet, so I think I'm fine.
Okay. All right.
I'll hang for a little bit longer. And then I will make my way. So.
Okay. All right.
But, yeah.
Well, yes. If we have another guest hop in at 9:30, in their traditional 9:30 slot, then you can hang out and we can have that discussion for as long as you need to. You mentioned what we've seen with Atlanta United, and I know that it has been a very, very busy window for Atlanta United. We are still waiting, actually, now that we're thinking about it. Hang on. Let me go to the Twitters, because we all know that is the bastion of all that is accurate when it comes to information. Okay, so do we have a latest on Steven Alzate? Let's see.
While you're doing that, I completely agree with you, Alex. We do. We need to starting strikers this season. We do. I completely agree with you. Sorry, I was going through the comments and I saw it. Yes, I completely agree with you, Alex. We do.
No. So right now, the last thing we heard was obviously Tommy Scoops a couple days ago, $2.5 million fee. Steven Alzate, featured for Brighton Standard Liège, and that was where Ronnie Dyla knows him from. 29 apps for Hull City last season, had 1 assist, 7 caps for Colombia, has a British and Colombian citizenship available to him, and he would be the 8th transaction if it does in fact come to pass. He would be the 4th inbound, to be compared to the 4 outbound that we have seen so far. So a very, very busy window for Chris Henderson and the front office for Atlanta United in this window.
Yeah, Chris Henderson talked about it. They want to bring in some players to help this team out. And, you're looking for the rest of the season. You're looking to people to come and help the team. But, I mean, you're also preparing for next season, too. You're trying to bring in those players who are going to be long-lasting, who can make an impact on the roster going forward. And it's about finding the right players, getting what fits well, what works well, and making those decisions. That's something that Chris Henderson talked about. That's something that Ronnie Dyla has talked about. And, bringing in some of those players, like I think you're already seeing it with Mihai. I really like Mihai a lot, especially with what he brings in the back line. I loved the last couple of games we got to see him check into the field, just the command that he does have when he's back there. I feel like that's needed a lot, and I think he's already brought that level, especially as early as he's come in, to be able to come in and not be afraid to be a leader and to point things around, to direct. I think that's really important. And then Baracol as well, coming in as well. He is also going to be an addition as well to that back line, helping things out there. That's going to be huge too. And you're bringing in 2 really solid defenders, and it's just filling in the rest of the roster and getting things going. And it's what works well. And Afonso as well, being another player who can come in off the bench, who can help out as well. I think Luke Brennan is slowly solidifying himself, especially in that role at the left wing, especially with what he's done the last couple of games. But Afonso is a great striker. He can come forward. He can play on the left wing. He can play up top. He can be a forward. He was someone who scored many, many goals when he was in college at Virginia. He can come in and make an impact too. So you're seeing what Chris Henderson is bringing in to help this team for the rest of the season. But you're also looking ahead to what can help this team next season, going into the next season as well.
Luke Brennan on the night, 90 minutes, 53 touches, 15 of 21 adjusted numbers. 1 key pass, 8 dribbles attempted successfully. 9 of 29 on his ground duels. Finished 9 of 31 on the night. 9 for 29. That is an insane number of duels in an evening. 2 fouls, 1 clearance, 1 pick, 1 dribble passed. So I cannot remember the last time I've seen a number that high for a duels number for an Atlanta United player on the evening. But that speaks to what Luke Brennan, as you said, wants to do on that left-hand side, where he wants to challenge, he wants to instigate, he wants to drive people crazy, he wants to go around you, he wants to make sure that any kind of activity down the left-hand side involves him. And I mentioned it on the post-game show. I think we're seeing Luke learn in real time, and I think we're seeing him adjust to life in Major League Soccer in real time. And so to be able to see how his brain is learning and functioning and understanding game state as it goes, that's also something that we can add to the mix here where Luke Brennan is concerned.
I completely agree with you. Absolutely. And I'll leave my last thing here because Jason Longshore, the man, the myth, the legend, just arrived. But I'll leave you with this as well. I think Luke Brennan, I think, has been outstanding. I said it in my post-game interview with Ronnie, talking about just what he brings to the side. I think he's been one of your best players the last couple of games in what he's brought up top. And I think one thing that always stood out to me when he played with the twos was how unafraid he was to maybe step up and not be afraid to get in some of those challenges, to get into the defenders' faces. I mean, we saw it against Seattle, having issues over there on that side as well. He was getting forward, he was causing problems, and he did it against Necaxa as well, because what it did is what Luke did so well was you had a lot of those defenders, a lot of Necaxa were coming in that way, were shielding Miguel and shielding that left side because they know Miguel and what he can bring on that attack side. So Necaxa's defenders were all the way over there. When you switched the play to Luke, no one was over there. So it allowed so much space for Luke to then go forward. And then it also cleared up because then everyone's going towards Luke now. It opens things up for Miguel, for Alexi, for Jamal to get into the box to create something. Luke was doing a really good job at doing the simple things right. And that's what's important, is getting the simple things right, getting those things down packed. And he's helping this team out up top and creating some of that thing. I've really loved his relationship. Not only, I think a lot of people are looking at, when they look at pairings, they think, oh, that left side, they think Pedro Amador and Luke Brennan. Tristan Muyamba and Luke Brennan have been on fire, reading each other so well. And that combo has been really, really pivotal in those moments too. And you're seeing it come into play on that left side as well, helping out in the attack. And I think Luke Brennan has brought something really, really strong up top, and he's brought that energy. And he's brought the ability of just, the FU mentality, almost the FU mentality of just, I'm gonna get forward and I'm gonna be a problem. I'm gonna be a thorn in your side, and that's what's gonna be. So yeah.
The FU mentality is always good. Go to practice, and we will see you later today at the Brew House discussing things with 4 fan bases.
Absolutely, I'll see y'all there.
All right, and so there goes Maddie. Maddie is going to see what's going on along with Jason and everybody else at the Children's Healthcare of Atlanta training ground as they get ready for their road trip, heading down to Central Florida to take on Pumas, the back end of a doubleheader at the Purple Barn tomorrow night. And it's going to be 8 o'clock, 5 Stripes countdown. In theory, and I'm missing a straw, so hang on just a second. I have to go into another room. But in theory, Atlanta United is going to be playing at 9 o'clock. So 9 o'clock kick, or 9:03 or what have you. 9 o'clock kick for Atlanta United and Pumas, 92.9 the game in the Odyssey app. That's tomorrow. That is if, and that is a big blanket if everything goes well meteorologically involving the Purple team and Atlas, who are playing at 6. You got a couple of friendlies that are going on tomorrow too for teams that are not in the that are not in Leagues Cup. Nashville hosting Aston Villa after they played St. Louis. They meaning St. Louis. St. Louis played Aston Villa yesterday, so they're going to wander over. Villa's going to take on Nashville at 5 o'clock tomorrow at Geodis. Same for DC United and the Ethiopian national team. They're going to play at Audi Field at 5 o'clock. Philadelphia Union playing Eintracht Frankfurt at Subaru Park at 5:30. That's just to get the early cleanser. the early palate cleanser, the aperitif or the appetizer, for Purple Team and Atlas at 6. In a perfect world, everything will be fine. Something happens. You don't have weather. You don't have anything go wrong. You don't go into PKs. Five Stripes Countdown in a perfect world tomorrow, 8 o'clock, 92.9 The Game in the Odyssey app with Abe and Maddie. If things go wrong, if they become meteorologically challenged, if the game goes into PKs, if all of those things, and we have to think about things like this, and we have to do it. Think about the 100% negative thing that could go wrong, and then work backward. Perfect world, everything goes correct, everything times out, you have a result in 90 minutes, then you're looking at players getting off the field 8 o'clock, Five Stripes Countdown kicks off, Atlanta United and Pumas, they go out at 9. They'll be done shortly after 11. Then everybody flies home and then probably gets into bed about 2 a.m., and then we have Summer Series over at Mercedes-Benz, the doubleheader there. We'll be there covering that for you. And then Messi and Friends 2 and Atlanta United 2, that's on the network Sunday night. And then Monday, it starts all over again as we get you toward the tail end of match day 2s and get you ready for match day 3s. So that's kind of where things stand for the weekend. But once again, today, Brew House. 4 to 9, big blanket celebration of the Premier League. Go, 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 go. And so Maddie will be there talking to fans of the four combatants that are going to be at Mercedes-Benz on Sunday. That's a part of it. She mentioned Kevin Egan going to be a part of it. We're going to have an interview on tape later on that day with Wes Brown from Manchester United. He's going to be interviewed live by Kevin Egan. So all the things at the Brew House, 4 to 9 today. Get your tickets. You can go to Eventbrite, I think, and you can get them there. And you can also go, I imagine you can go to the Brew House and probably get stuff at the door. Let's check. I don't want to send you down a wrong path because, I don't want you to show up and say, well, Nelson said. So let's find out. So let's find out if Brew House Cafe will, our story gallery events. Okay. So events. Let's see. Trivia night, all the things, Rockin' the Disco, Pub Partner, Spring is Sprung, Brew House and events and things like that. Admission info here. All right, so Summer Footy Fest. I'm going to click on the tab. Wes Brown, Kevin Egan, Premier League Trophy visiting 6 to 7:30. Wes Brown and Egan have their Q&A at 7. Maddie is going to be in the first hour, the Rock the Disco sound system, kicking things off at 4. Fan activities, giveaways, and music all day from the inimitable Rock the Disco sound system. So, see admission info here. We click on it, and it goes to an Eventbrite deal. Summer Footy Fest with the Premier League Trophy, all ages. And 4 to 9, get directions. No refunds, by the way. And it is getting tickets, and I think getting in starting at 4, it's $23.18 is what the number is. I don't know if there's any significance to that. So you got Guinness at the Outdoor Experience, Rock the Disco sound system. 5:15 is when Maddie gets to pair off and gets to ask fans things from 5:15 to 5:45, just in time for the Premier League Trophy to visit. And that's going to be visiting inside. Kevin Egan, Wes Brown, 7:30 to 8. And then after that, it is batten down the hatches, and there you go. So Wes Brown, Premier League Trophy, Kevin Egan, Maddie Cruz. Free and open to the public. Indoor space is limited. So here you go. Here's the deal. Help us plan and keep things running smoothly, offering guests the option to RISVIP in advance with a donation of $20 to Soccer in the Streets. Donating, you get guaranteed entry to the indoor bars, reserved seat with table service, priority access to activation zones and giveaways. General admission to outdoor areas. Don't miss this one-of-a-kind afternoon. So, what about parking? As we'll be using our lot for the event, we can't offer you parking, unfortunately. However, there are a number of paid parking lots within a couple minutes walk. Will there be food available to purchase? Yes, the kitchen will be open. Are minors allowed? As long as they're accompanied by a parent or guardian who's age 21 or over. So, click the link, John, and put it in the discussion. So here you go. Here is your chat, and here is the link. So you can go, but to be guaranteed like seats and indoor and things like that, you can go and you click on there and you pay ahead of time, and it's like $20. You get a seat guarantee. You get indoors on a day like today. Anything is possible, and you probably need it. So go to the Brewhouse website, Brewhouse Cafe. Click on the event. Get your tickets to RizVip from our friends at Eventbrite, and then there you go. So that's the rundown for the event today, and Abby says the trophy is supposed to be at Kroger before the Brewhouse. So there we go. Abby, my guess is that they're flying out middle of the afternoon like they always do. It's just like a standard game day. So they would be flying out this afternoon, getting into Orlando tonight, hanging out in Central Florida tonight, probably going to an Applebee's, and then working their way over to the stadium tomorrow, kind of slow rolling it a little bit, probably going to walk through, probably some more strategy sessions and things like that in the morning, and then build your way forward as they're ready for the back end of the doubleheader. Oh, boy. Back into the doubleheader, man. Okay, so we keep an eye on that. Once again, keep an eye on that. Abby's got the sunny with a high in that Messi and friends at the Erector set at 95, only a 20% chance of rain on Sunday night. So probably the same in Central Florida. And, yeah, and Abby, it took me a second to realize that was thunder that was outside downtown. And it wasn't like fans of Necaxa and Atlanta United getting excited. So glad we play indoors, especially with the thunder that occurred during the match. Yeah, everything was fine. Match kept going. Yeah, I thought it was like Necaxa fans and Atlanta United fans challenging each other to noise. But that was not the case. That was definitely not the case. So, yeah, it's my gut tells me there's going to be a weather delay. But once again, Five Stripes Countdown. Five Stripes Countdown is going to be hanging out. And at 8 o'clock in theory. In theory, it would be something akin to that. Yeah, so I am so staring. I am so I'm so not looking forward to the weather delay. Looks like Bart Keeler might join us at 10:30 if he can swing it. Gio Savarese coming up in about 10 minutes. And then Leagues Cup Executive Director Tom Mayo coming by at 11 o'clock. We are going to go supersize this morning just because of guests and things. But, yeah, I am firmly looking to a weather delay. Five Stripes Countdown starting at 8 o'clock. In a perfect world, they will be just going straight into a match at 9, and then a full hour of the full-time report after with Maddie and Abe. I have already been put on notice by Maddie that if we end up with a weather delay of some description, that they may just call me. They may just call me and say, hey, crash the show. We need you to help fill time. So there's all of that. Let's see. Gossip, rumor, and innuendo around the planet. We'll get into that. We'll start with our buddy Ben Jacobs and find out what's going on around the planet. We mentioned the ESOC deal and Newcastle turning down the first go. You've got the formal bid at 120 rejected. Formal offer made by Richard Hughes. Liverpool bid a clear indication of optimism despite the rejection. Okay, so remember the discussion that we were having about John Texter. By the way, we are in day 6 of John Texter Watch. Understand, and he says, understand suggestions Forest and Botafogo could end up in a multi-club model together are wide of the mark. So that would be some kind of Eagle Football Holdings, Evangelinas Marinakis kind of a deal. Apparently that's wide of the mark. Leo Castledine joining Huddersfield from Chelsea. Wrexham set to sign Connor Cody from Leicester. £2 million pound fee agreed. Cody undergoing a medical this morning. So Wrexham continuing to make noise in the championship. Manchester United frontrunners for Benjamin Sesko amid positive talks this week. Keen to join even without European football this season. Newcastle fear Sesko is going to go to Old Trafford despite remaining in talks. Deal's more complicated by Leipzig's asking price, as Arsenal also found earlier in the window. €75 million plus add-ons have been quoted to the club. Chelsea's defender Mamadou Sarr has rejoined Strasbourg on a season-long loan. Rangers confirm Mikey Moore on a season-long loan from Spurs. Joao Palhinha close to joining Spurs on an initial loan. Say that 10 times fast. Palhinha had already agreed to the move. Parties now finalizing a potential buy option. Palhinha told Spurs he's keen to move permanently, but the loan formula will remain. So that's the early round of gossip from our buddy Ben Jacobs. We mentioned Palhinha and Højlund and Sesko. Jadon Sancho ready to accept a 50% pay cut as he eyes a return to the Bundesliga and Borussia Dortmund. That's from Bild. Chelsea expected to make an offer for Alejandro Garnacho before the transfer window shuts. Have no concerns over his character after a series of background checks. England U20 midfielder Nico O'Reilly is going to sign a new contract with Manchester City after they rejected 2 transfer bids from Bayer Leverkusen. That's from Fabrizio Romano. Girona have agreed a deal in principle to sign Manchester City's Vitor Reis on loan, Fabrizio Romano. And Manchester City also want 19-year-old Claudio Echeverri to go on a season-long loan to Girona. Discussions ongoing between the Argentine winger and the Spanish club. Premier League, Liverpool and Bournemouth both opted not to match Neom SC's offer for Nantes defender Nathan Zeze. Chelsea interested in Club Brugge's Ardon Jashari, but the 23-year-old midfielder prefers to move to AC Milan. That's from Sasha Tavolieri. Everton will wait until the final weeks of the window to make a loan offer for Juve midfielder Douglas Luiz. Juve have joined Atalanta, Napoli, and Roma in showing an interest in Brighton midfielder Matt O'Reilly. Inter Milan rejected the chance to sign Chelsea and France striker Christopher Nkunku as they are focused on a move for Atalanta's 27-year-old forward Ademola Lookman. Tyler Dibling, Southampton set a new asking price after rejecting an initial offer from Everton. That was high teens, I believe. Middlesbrough expected to complete a deal for a defender from Blackburn Rovers. West Brom made a bid for Cadiz forward Chris Ramos. Wrexham have agreed to fees of $2 million each for Connor Cody and for Sheffield United's Kiefer Moore. And Bristol Rovers set to sign Swiss striker Fabrizio Cavani from Vaduz in Liechtenstein, 2nd division in Switzerland. So that's the early rundown of stuff overseas. Let's see if Tommy Scoops has anything to add domestically. Once again, still another couple of weeks that are left in the window. Obviously, the big news yesterday was the idea of Matt Turner being, Lyon being saddled with a Matt Turner deal, thanks to John Textor, who apparently just kind of left the paperwork in a corner in the office. And so we don't want him, loan him out. It looks like a loan option with a loan with a buy option back to the Revs. So, child, please get some playing time. Revs indeed interested, among other clubs, in Israeli forward Dor Turgeman on a U22. A lot of competition from Maccabi Tel Aviv, 15 goals, 32 appearances, 24-25. A lot of competition with European clubs. Timbers considered signing him this winter as well. And I believe that is, and we mentioned Rob Holding yesterday. So that's the rundown of all of the early round of all of the things to discuss when it comes to all of the names being bandied about for all the activity. Okay, Leagues Cup, juice boxes today. NYC minus 154 on Club Leon. Club Leon at plus 345, draws a plus 304. Crew, slightly after 7 o'clock, taking on Puebla at a minus 250, draws a plus 382. Puebla in the composite, courtesy of our friends at Odds Portal, of plus 526. Helena Shell, Houston hosting Mazatlan. Houston a minus 119. Mazatlan and the draw both hanging around at plus 276, 277. Toluca and CF Montreal. Toluca a minus 185. Draw is a plus 333. CF Montreal is a plus 401. We saw how that went. And that didn't really go over all that well. This one, by the way, is being held as a doubleheader in New Jersey. NYC and Leon is at 6. Toluca and Montreal in Harrison, New Jersey is at 9. because sure. 1040, LAFC and Pachuca at BMO. LAFC is a minus 127, draws a plus 280. Pachuca is a plus 290. Your late night, Tigres and San Diego without Anders Dreyer, who picked up the red card in match day 1, are a plus 202. Tigres a plus 114. Draw is a plus 256. And that one, once again, is at the Murph Dragon. We're adopting that because Adrian Garcia Marquez said it. So, therefore, it is, in fact, the truth. It is the Murph Dragon. And so that is we're going to call it the Murph Dragon, because if Adrian Garcia Marquez says so, that's what it is. If a tree falls and no one's there to hear it, does it make a sound? That's a good question, Alex. I mean, that truly is. And David has let us know that the phone died. Turns out he can listen on Alexa. Alexa, play Soccer Down Here. Now, David will let me know if Alexa picked up me saying for Alexa to do things. I don't know if Alexa can respond to internal commands or not, or if it just has to be David's voice. I don't know how Alexas work. Me and technology, I know that you're shocked. So that's the early go-round of everything with Leagues Cup and with all the other activity that is attached to everything in this hemisphere. We mentioned gossip, rumor, and innuendo both on both sides of the Atlantic. Let's get into what to watch, where to watch it, how to watch it, before Gio Savarese set to join us in a handful of minutes. Today, Crystal Palace, Augsburg at noon on ESPN Deportes. Liga MX, Tigres and Puebla is supposed to be at 11 o'clock. Don't quite think that's going to happen, considering that Tigres is playing San Diego FC at 11 o'clock, unless they're doing 2 matches at once. Everything's on AppleTV and MLS Season Pass. These 6 matches that are attached to the Leagues Cup. Next Pro, Tacoma Defiance, Ventura County is also on MLSNextPro.com at 10. On the Plus, Bundesliga B at 2:30. 2 matches, USL Championship, 8:30 and 9. Westchester and Chattanooga is at 7 o'clock in League One. Luton Town and AFC Wimbledon. The lower divisions in England kick off today. I might be watching that one a little bit. Luton Town and Wimbledon at 3. Scottish Championship at 2:45. Arbroath and Ayr United. Women Copa America Femenina, 3rd place match at 8. Argentina, Uruguay. Prime Video's got NWSL this week. Friday Night Football at 8. Racing Louisville and Kansas City Current as they're back from the international break. Golazo Network, Seattle and Angel City at 10:30. NWSL Plus, Chicago and Gotham at 8. Seattle and Angel City also on Paramount Plus. Now, just to give you an idea as to what's going on Saturday. Polish League on beIN, Golazo Network has League One and USL Championship, EFL League One, 7:30 and 10 a.m. CBS Sports Network, English League 2, Barnet and Fleetwood Town, Scottish Premiership at 12:30. FS1, Leagues Cup at 9 and 11. FS2, Canadian Premier League at 7. beIN Espanol simulcasting the Polish League. Fox Deportes, Borussia Dortmund and Lille at 11 a.m. 2 to NA, Leagues Cup at 6 and 9. Simulcast on Univision. Apple TV MLS Season Pass has 6 matches in Leagues Cup tomorrow. We'll go over juice boxes later. MLS Next Pro has 3 matches, including Chattanooga FC and Toronto FC at 7. Core, Revs 2 at 7:30. North Texas and Rapids 2 at 8:45. Bundesliga B kicks off tomorrow. 5 matches on ESPN Plus. 2 international friendlies. Northern Super League at 2 and 7. 4 matches on the USL Championship. 6 matches USL League One. MLSNextPro.com. 2 matches, 1 at 5 and 1 at 8. Paramount Plus has 4 English League One matches, 3 English League Two matches, 1 Scottish Premiership match, 2 in USL Championship. Women, 5 o'clock tomorrow, Brazil-Colombia, Copa America Femenina Final. Ion has your NWSL doubleheader, Courage, San Diego Bay FC, and Houston. And if you want to get all the beINs and all the things that are attached to beIN, Nuestro Telesitio for the fans, say Gold TV and our buddy Nino Torres, you can get that at fanatesfntz.co/soccer down here. And you can help them out by giving them more streamers and subscribers. You help us out a little bit. And you also get to continue to make sure that all of the craziness continues in your universe when it comes to anything and everything to do with the game that we talk about here, Monday through Friday, and sometimes a little more than that. And it is a true degenerate way to watch everything is over at fanatesfntz.co/soccer down here. All right. We get to catch up with one of the busiest men around. And he is for his first time here on the morning show. And we'll find out where his parts unknown are and where he's hanging out with us. One of the coolest coaches out there who has had to deal with a lot of different things in a lot of different places. And now he gets to do Gio time on Apple TV. He is getting properly hydrated. He's got his, I'm guessing it's coffee, might be tea, I don't know. But we're going to catch up with Gio Savarese and find out what in the wide world of sports is going on. Welcome to the morning show, Gio.
It is a pleasure to be in the show. Thank you for the invite.
All right, so let me ask. This is we've had Ozzy Alonso on in the past. We've had Dax. We've had BWP, among others. What is it like for you to be on this side of the desk instead of having folks sticking microphones in your face and asking you questions that you've heard 19,000 times that you got to come up with 18,000 different answers for?
That's such a good question because I've had the fortune, to be a little bit in every side as a coach, sporting director, as an analyst, as I'm doing right now. So it's definitely, each one is different, but all of them have the same core values and the same idea of, speaking about the game. Now from this side, there's a lot more that I have to investigate. Because we have to speak, so I have a higher respect for all of you, and definitely something that has allowed me to grow even more. When you coach, you're more focused about your team, your game, your season. You're deeper in that. But now, as an analyst, especially what we do, I have to know about every game, every player, every situation. So you guys are amazing.
Well, it's great to have you on this side of the table because, when we have been asking questions, whether it was in Major League Soccer or in the North American Soccer League, when you would be making your tours, tremendous, profound respect for what you've been able to do as a coach. You mentioned all of the research. Who is on your speed dial? I ask this of coaches when coaches have questions about what they're doing. Now, as a TV studio analyst, who is on your speed dial when you've got a question about being a TV studio analyst? Who do you call and go like, what am I doing here?
That's great. First of all, I see how well everybody that works around me, in the research that they do is amazing. We're lucky because Apple TV provides different people that we can, just call them right away, email them. And whatever question you have it right there in seconds. So that's something definitely that I wish I had as a coach. That if I wanted a goal scorer to score a goal right away, that I can get that in seconds. But we're fortunate enough to be able to have that information. And then if you want to go deeper, I'm fortunate to have so many friends in the game. So if I have a specific question to ask, I can go directly to a coach, to a player, to a person in a club. And just provide the information that that I'm looking for.
I just have this vision of you with you. I don't know if you're an iPhone or an Android guy, but I just have this vision with you on the desk, and you're sitting there and okay, so who do I go on the Rolodex to ask this question live on the air, and getting those instant kinds of responses. Obviously, since we are based in Atlanta, we are a national show, but based in Atlanta, I do want to ask you about what you have seen or maybe haven't seen from Atlanta United this year and what your thoughts are as we are at this particular point of the season at the All-Star break in Atlanta United is where they are.
Yeah, I mean, I think that I probably have seen the same thing that everybody have seen, a team that has invested a lot this season, a team that when we were looking at what was going on in the club at the beginning of the season, we had high expectations for the team. I mean, personally, I had them winning the Supporter Shield, I think, because of the amount of players, the quality players that were coming in, and for the momentum that they had last year getting into the playoff. So definitely disappointed in what I have seen so far because even though there's I think a good group of players, they've been very inconsistent. There's been moments in which you have seen, especially and more at home, some half like the last half that they play. Can't remember right now against who. I gotta look into it. But the first half that they played at home, it was a very good half.
Yeah.
But everything changed in the second half for them, and they've been this is consistent team, which I don't think for the quality of the players that they have, we should be looking at. And knowing about the organization, Atlanta as a history, and if there's someone that can talk about that history, is me, because I wish I had an MLS Cup in my side and not in your side. You guys have always been, a quality organization with a fan base that is amazing, a beautiful stadium, always, breaking through, trying to make sure that things are always at a high level. So it's been, I think, a little disappointing to see the team being so inconsistent this year.
When you have a team that is minus 15 in minute 46 to minute 60, they've only scored 3, they've given up 18 when they come out of the locker room. It is one of the things that has completely and totally confounded and confused folks this year, where you go into the locker room, coach has conversations, players are getting locked in for the second half, and then you just have moment after moment where goals are being scored. How have you in the past had conversations to make sure that folks lock in that first 5, 10, 15 minutes in the second half so they can continue that momentum into the latter stages of the second half?
Yeah, I think it goes further back more than just a conversation in halftime. I think it starts first with a team that needs to have chemistry, first of all. I need, a team that sometimes can go on bad and good moments, but that the players around trust each other or are willing to play for each other. And then the coach at a particular time, and I'm talking about my experience.
Yeah.
You need to be able to connect with the players, and there has to be a relationship between the players and between the coach and players, that when you have a speech at halftime, or if you have to adjust something, there's a belief and there's a willingness to go into the second half and trust your teammate, trust your coach, and say, this is how we're going to do it. This is how we're going to compete, and let's go and try to do it in the second half. It might not work out, but there needs to be that before anything, before tactics, before the group goes into the field. If there's no chemistry, I think it always becomes more difficult to be able to achieve what you're looking for.
And it is not something, I wouldn't think that chemistry among 11 individuals, if not 20, it's not an instant thing, but is it one of the biggest challenges for a coach, especially now at the midpoint of a season when you're in a transfer window where you've got outs and ins and everything? Is creating and building chemistry one of the biggest challenges for a coach?
I think that's the biggest challenge that a coach has when you're coaching. It's not the tactics. It's not the the staff, knowing what to do and in the hours that you put in. It is the most important things is the connection, the belief, the group desire to be able to say, we're gonna fight together. And then fight the way the coach is looking for us to play, or how much freedom the coach gives to the players for them to be able to execute. Everything is secondary after the chemistry, after the trust in the group. And I have seen in some of the games in which some moments the team, I don't want to say gives up, but goes through moments that they don't look the same as they look 10 minutes before. And that's common in soccer. I had sometimes teams that were inconsistent as well, that sometimes first half was good, second half wasn't good, but there was always the connection, the trust in each other, and the desire to play for each other. Even that I think this is the most important word, the sacrifice from the players to say, we will do this as long as we win. And I believe that I haven't seen constantly, or a higher percentage Atlanta doing that this season.
Gio Savarese having our own version of Gio Time here on SDH AM here on a Friday, and breaking everything down as only he can. Leagues Cup. Last night we started, we got our Leagues Cup after dark. We got our wish. 7 goals in one match with LA Galaxy and Xolos. And then Seattle just decided to take Cruz Azul and show them the door and close the door behind them and make a really loud noise, putting 7 on the board. Were you up late night watching all that stuff?
I watch every game. I just love to, the game, and I do it for work now, but it's just the passion, and especially this is a great competition. Leagues Cup between the Liga MX and the MLS, teams is getting better and better. I think this format is even better. And last night we got a little bit more MLS, better results, especially the one that you mentioned. Seattle was amazing yesterday. They just came into this field and just took over. I mean, they were dominant. They were very good. They were aggressive. Love it because they done it with a lot of academy players, and that's great, because if you see Cruz Azul, the investment of Cruz Azul in players and the investment in Seattle is probably 4 times the difference. But on the field, you saw Seattle that, I mean, they were, full of energy. And then scoring 7 goals on 45 minutes in second half, you don't see that often. You don't see, especially the 7th goal was a jewel. It was, and people, I heard people saying, did he mean to do that? Yes, he did. They did, because he pulls the body. De La Vega turns around, times it perfect, connects in a good way, executed perfectly. Does it happen a lot of times? No. I can tell you from, past history, it's not an easy thing, but sometimes things really come together, and that moment was a special moment for Seattle, for us to watch that goal, and especially for De La Vega.
All right, so when was the last time you had a moment like that, where you get this ball serviced to you perfectly and you just sit there and you smash it right on the full volley? When was the last time you had a moment like that?
I will say a couple of times in my pickups game here, when I go on Sunday morning, 7 o'clock in the morning, to play with my friends 11v11. I had a few moments that I said, wow. I mean, what I thought maybe happened, I didn't think it would be so. But, when I was a player, it's one thing that is not always, but when it happens, you're capable of doing great things. And at that moment, we saw greatness. One of the best goals we're going to see.
So does Egan drive you crazy doing Sunday morning pickup? What's it like out there at Sunday morning pickup? We need the dirt.
Kevin is, it's amazing. The whole group it's a family. It's a family. And in every family, everybody, is different. Everybody has their personality, and but I think, everybody's having so much fun together. From the time that we arrive, from the moments that we work, everybody, you can see how much they love, even the new ones. Aussie, Dax, Sasha's done it a little bit longer, but Aussie and Dax that are, newcomers, they just, they look like they jump into the roller skates going, and, and they never stop. They're doing so well. I'm very proud of them. And it's a pleasure to have, this family working together.
Gio Savarese on roller skates for AppleTV on studio. All right, so we're in a transfer window right now, in the secondary transfer window, and we have seen the big announcements. We'll go ahead and mention Messi and friends down in Fort Lauderdale, where Rodrigo De Paul is now a part of it. Looks like he got a haircut and he's ready to go. When it comes to all of the big names that are wanting to play with Leo Messi, and the fans are sitting there and they're wondering how all of the financials work and everything, when you see all of these big names come to Major League Soccer and want to be a part of MLS 2.5, 3.0, what does it mean for you, for someone who has seen the league grow to where it is right now, to see big names still come back and want to be a part of this?
You're talking to someone, as you mentioned, that knows the league from 1996. Actually, I went to the Combine in 1995. So you can, imagine, I've seen the league from beginning to end, and looking at this league now, the growth in so many ways is been amazing. It's been something to be proud of. And we want teams to be like Miami, that they push the envelope. We want teams to be like Atlanta, that you push the envelope. You have to make sure that you always want to be elite. You want to be a club that is fighting for, for trophies, and they do it in a way that they bring, always better players to compete. And they have to challenge, MLS to make sure that we keep growing more and more, and that we're not too slow in wanting to, increment little by little. We have to push it, but we balance. That's why we have grown so much. Credit to the commissioner. I think Don has done a phenomenal job to be able to be smart in every step that he's done. But it's good as well from teams to push the envelope, as I said before, like Inter Miami, bring in somebody like the Paul. I think it makes the team better because he's young. He could have been in Europe still. He could have gone to South America. He decided to go to play with his friend. And Messi just doesn't matter how old you are around him. He's going to push you. He's going to push you. He's the winner. He doesn't care. He's going to tell you right in your face if you don't do things the right way. But that's the competitive person that he is. And we want to see that. We have, the best player in the world in our league. And it's good that he keep on pushing, every envelope around himself.
All right. So are you in studio tonight?
I will be, yes.
All right. So are you in studio for the entire weekend, sir?
Correct, I will be.
All right. So what is the rest of your day? After you're finished talking with us, when do you have to report in for makeup?
So we'll get together around 2:30. For me, no much to anything in the face. So not too much changes. So no, the makeup, not not much. And we'll get there. We get a meeting. We talk about exactly in details everything that we're going to cover. We have been preparing, already from these days to have all the information. If we need something, we have people there that will give it to us right away. And then it's, let's go to play and to get to work.
And it's always fantastic to see your work and have Gio time on the rather large 55-inch screen off to my left. But it is also, we are blessed to have you here on the morning show. You now have the garage door opener. You know where the key is under the mat. You can click on that anytime. 10 to 11, traditionally, the last hour of the week is when we just kind of turn it into chaos. Anybody who wants to come and visit, say their piece, 3 minutes, drift in, drift out. I'm done. I'm going to go get my coffee. You now, sir, have golden ticket status. You can come in at any time. It'll be great to see you. If you're ever bored, come on in and visit us anytime.
I appreciate to be in the status now. And definitely, I will be available anytime that you feel that, we need to connect. So it was always a pleasure. And love your show.
I'm gonna quote. Let's see. Gio says anytime he wants to come in. I'm writing this down. It's a direct quote.
Perfect. I like it.
Go get your second cup. We'll see you soon, and good luck this weekend in Gio time.
Thank you. It's a pleasure. Take care.
Right. Gio Savarese, and that was very cool. The Gio now has golden ticket status. He can come in at any time. Jarrett's now with us, and I think that Jarrett, that Bart's going to be joining us as well. So it'll be chaos leading up till about 11 o'clock. And then Tom Mayo, the executive director of Leagues Cup in and of itself, will be joining us at 11 o'clock. So what's on your mind here on a Friday?
Oh, no, we're embracing the chaos of it all. Because it's Leagues Cup. And I got to say, I like the format change they've done to Leagues Cup. Nothing is perfect. Everything is constantly going to be in flux, and everything is constantly going to be changed and tried to improve. And sometimes when you try to improve things, you won't improve them. In fact, you will make them worse, but that's okay. So you have to take swings on things. And as long as Leagues Cup is just going to be a part of our lives, and I get it. I love Open Cup too. It has a special place in my heart. I don't think you're going to kill off Leagues Cup.
No.
On the ground roots level. Just I want to go ahead and emotionally prepare you for that you're not going to kill it off. So there's that. However,
yes. However,
that being said, I do like the change in formatting because what it gave us two examples of it last night and an example of the night before. Because of this formatting, because the goals matter, because goals matter, and goals difference matter, and eventually discipline matters down the tie-breaking line. you get stuff like Necaxa trying to run up the score on Atlanta at the end because that goal difference mattered. You get Charlotte, who had their striker headbutt another human being in the middle of the game.
Yeah.
A game they were losing. And then they proceeded to give up multiple goals and lose 4-1. And those 4 goals could be very, very important. Then you have Seattle. And Seattle decided, I don't know why my volume's low.
I don't know either.
I'm using the same. I'll change headsets in a minute.
There we go.
What Seattle did last night was violence for 45 minutes because it was 0-0 at halftime.
Yes.
And then basically they just kind of just picked up Cruz Azul. And then just threw them against the wall for 45 minutes.
Yeah.
To my joy.
Yeah. Yeah. So you end up with all of that from anything and everything. But no, it was interesting last night where the way things are is that in this format, in the adjustment, like I said, we'll talk to Tom Mayo about this adjustment at 11 o'clock. And it is win in regulation, win by a lot, score a lot. And so that is the new way of how things are here in Leagues Cup in 2025. And you're seeing all of these results where Juarez puts 4 on Charlotte. You're seeing all of these large numbers, and knowing that you're trying to get out of group stage, phase 1, and be one of the top 4 in each league to carry through. That means literally score a lot, win by a lot. And I think that's where you're not just having you may not have a kickabout till match day 3 to solidify your place. And like if you're in, or if you win and you're up a couple goals, then last handful of minutes in match day 3 might just be a kickabout, something like that. But that's not what they're encouraging here. And you're seeing that so far with a lot of goals being scored.
Yeah. And is this better?
There it is.
Okay, great. So sometimes Restream likes to pick the wrong microphone, so that's fun. Yeah, man, I like this format where you are rewarding teams and making it more appealing to go beat someone into the dirt. It's like, well, I mean, in a sense, the playoff format we have right now, I don't love the best of 3.
Right.
We're not baseball, we're not basketball, we're not hockey.
Right.
I personally am a believer in 2 legs. Do 2 legs.
Yes.
Best over 2 legs. Hell, do the final over 2 legs for all I care.
Yes.
But one of the benefits of that was one of the fun parts of those best of 3 is that when game 1 would get sideways, you'd get a team that wasn't necessarily afraid because like the goal difference didn't matter. So I'm like, oh, we're down 2 goals. Well, we might save guys, but we can also go for it because even if we give up 2 more goals, it doesn't really matter.
No, it's the best of.
Yeah, it's the best of, and I don't love it, but that is one fun thing about it.
Yeah,
I love that you're rewarding teams for going out there and pummeling other teams. Yeah, man. It's not perfect.
No,
but I think they are moving in the right direction in terms of getting all the pieces in place to make this even more fun down the road. I love the fact that we have split it up where, you're just going to be playing teams from Mexico if you're from America and vice versa. The next step for me, and I don't know the logistics of this, so I don't want to just say, go play in Mexico. I would love to just say, hey, go play some of these games in Mexico. But I don't know. I don't know the logistics of it, of what's possible and what's not at the moment. In the future, I would love to play some of these Leagues Cup games south of the border.
Yes.
That would be awesome.
Yes. And
again, you have to coordinate a lot of moving pieces for that.
Yeah,
And
I think that's why
it's sometimes it's easier said than done. Yeah.
Well, and I think to your point, because you've got to have travel, and it's midweek travel. You've got to drift in, you've got to drift out, you've got to have visas, you've got to have passports, you've got to have the venues ready. You're in the middle of leagues play in both of these leagues, and I think it's just easier right now to host all of these matches in the United States, where you can move about freely and you can sit there and schedule a doubleheader in Harrison, New Jersey, or in Central Florida. And it's just easier to do it right now to get the tournament done in the windows that you have, where you have 6 or 7 matches a day, or sometimes 8 or whatever. But to have those 6 matches a day, 6 venues going simultaneously, quick turn, grass or turf or what have you, I think right now it's just easier, and I'll put that word in quotation marks, to host a tournament this size right now, at least in the phase 1 stage, where you have to juggle all of these chainsaws. It's just easier in the U.S. to do it right now. But to your point, I'd love to see it be, at Azteca, at Estadio Akron, at Nemesio Diaz, all of these great venues. But I think it's just easier right now to have it done in the U.S.
It is. And it's weird. Like, it's still weird to me that, like, you have Atlanta playing in Orlando this weekend. But again, it's there's stadium logistics. There's always stadium logistics involved in sport.
Yeah.
And especially when you have a multi-use facility that gets scheduled throughout the year and gets scheduled a year or 2 in advance in some cases or more, it's not as easy as just go play there.
Yeah.
As much as I wish it was.
Yeah. Right now, Atlanta United getting ready for their trip to be the back end of the doubleheader at the Purple Barn and on Saturday. Yeah. And so now that you've had a couple days to kind of ruminate over what Necaxa was able to do at Mercedes-Benz Stadium, what questions do you need answered heading into match day 2?
Necaxa wasn't okay. Sometimes we've said this before. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose, and sometimes you get beat. There have been times this year where Atlanta's just gotten beat.
Yeah.
But there have been a lot more times where they've lost.
Yeah.
And this was another one of those where, if Bart swings through, can ask him about what in the blue hell was the decision on the first goal.
Yeah, and
because I thought it was offside.
Yeah,
but should have been a penalty on Derek.
Yeah, well, and
then the ref just lets it stand, which is asinine. If his decision was, well, it would have been a handball and a penalty. That guy was offside, but the ball went in the back of the net, so we're not going to give the handball. No, you
can't do that.
You don't do that. I don't know what in the hell he was doing.
Yeah.
I don't know what the decision was to take away Atlanta's penalty, unless because
which one?
I know everybody. No, the second one.
Mihai. The Mihai takedown inside the 18.
Yeah, I know everybody loved Warren Barton's coverage the other night, and I think and I'm going to jump out off the ledge a bit. I think a lot of people liked it because he just absolutely shat on the team.
Yeah,
and people like that right now.
Okay.
People have them. People like to be reinforced in their beliefs, whether they're good or bad.
Yeah.
And he went to task on Atlanta, and in a lot of ways, he was right about things. I wish he would find more things to talk about.
Yeah.
Respectfully.
Yeah.
Because it got repetitive after 80 plus minutes of it.
Yeah.
But on the Mihai one, he didn't know. I don't know. Like, it felt like there was no clear explanation if they were looking at the handball or if they're looking at the Mihai takedown.
Yeah. All right, Bart. Let's work backward. Bart's here. Let's work backward, Bart. How much of the 2 penalty shouts for Atlanta have you seen the video, extended versions, short versions, what have you?
Yes.
Okay.
To both.
All right. So let's work backwards. Since Jarrett was on the Mihai takedown, no call.
Yeah.
second
I
half.
still don't know if they were looking at that or if they were looking at the handball in the wall, which I didn't think was a handball. I thought his body was down inside of a silhouette.
I agree. I don't think that was a handball. I think that would have been a weird handball to call, but also confused. To that point, yes, I don't understand why they were looking at a handball that, at best, would be controversial. So, fine with them, whatever that ruling was, not calling that. Now, let's talk about the other part of that situation.
Well, and I spent a lot of a rant on it the day after because it should not take 5 blanking minutes to figure something out like this. And obviously, I know the both of you probably know that for me, anything longer than 90 seconds or 2 minutes, and I think that you're looking for something in your re-refereeing. All right, so let's...
You're impatient at times.
Very. At the end of it all, I would have, Bart, as a positive, said that the call should have been handball on Derek, goal off the board, go to the spot. That's how I would have.
Oh, so we're talking about that one now. Okay.
That one. We're going all the way to the front. All the way to the front in the 5-minute review from minute 12 to 17 that kept a goal on the board, which dumbfounded probably 99.9% of the population. So at the
end. By the way,
of,
Doug also said that after the game, the players did not get a clear explanation either.
Yeah, Brad,
the players were very confused.
Yeah, Brad was in the post-game show, and Brad did not get an explanation that made any sense. Go back and listen to the full-time report for that. So 17th minute, we get the end of the VAR review after a goal was scored 5 minutes previous, and the goal is kept on the board. But for me, as you're looking at the play, you had a rare opportunity in a building where Mercedes-Benz has a slash at the 18s where you can see right down the line. It looked like one, if not two players were capable of being in an offside position. Then you have, from there, you have Derek going down and shielding himself from being hit in the face, but that is outside of the silhouette. And so that to me is a handball. Ball goes off of Derek, pinballs around, crossbar off of Brad into the net. Then we get into this massive review of what you're trying to itemize. And walk us through this and try to talk to me like I'm 12 and don't know what I'm staring at. Walk us through this.
Okay, so I don't really know I will say this. I don't know what the reasoning is. Okay, so I'm just going to try to give you my best.
Sure.
What I would do.
Yeah.
Okay. So the goal is scored.
Yes.
After a player receives a ball that was clearly deflected. I think that's fair to say.
Yes.
That player probably was in an offside position. I think that's fair to say based on the video evidence we have, right, John?
Sure.
Okay.
I will stipulate to everything as you walk forward.
All right. So now we're looking at, okay, well, was the player in the offside position? I think so. I think that's a fair look at what happened.
Yeah,
he was in an offside position. He receives the ball. He puts the ball. Yeah, he puts the ball in the back of the net. Did that player receive the ball from a deliberate play or action by a defender? Right. We've had this conversation a few times.
Deliberate play or action. If a ball is deflected, I would say that's not deliberate.
We literally had this conversation in the New England game earlier this year with the Miguel Almiron goal that came off the board.
Right. So let's run through them, John and Jarrett, and I'll let y'all try to answer if this was a deliberate play, but then I'll get into another thing about it.
Please.
So,
yes.
Deliberate play is when a player has control of the ball with the possibility of passing the ball to the teammate, gaining possession of the ball, or clearing the ball. by kicking or heading it.
3 for 3, no.
Yeah, I don't think any of these apply to that deflection.
Yeah.
Now, you exclude a deliberate handball.
Mm-hmm.
So this is where I think maybe we're getting into why this goal was kept alive. Because a player in an offside position receiving the ball from an opponent who deliberately played the ball, there's an asterisk, by the way, in the laws of the game there,
okay,
including by deliberate handball, is not considered to have gained an advantage. So I think what happened, and again, we don't know because we did not get a good explanation from the referee.
No.
I think what happened was they said, yeah, that's a handball, but because the player received that directly from that deliberate handball, which I think it's a handball. I'm sorry, I think that's a handball. You can't have your elbow.
No, I think we will all.
No, I think we're in agreement.
Yeah.
It should have been. It should have been. I thought it should have been. My thesis on this: it should have been offside, but a handball on Derek, and then Necaxa goes to the spot.
Yeah,
correct. So that is what you would think. However,
yes,
in the laws of the game now, because if we've always had if they receive the ball after a deliberate play from the opponent, right?
Mm-hmm.
If an attacker receives the ball after a deliberate play from the defending team, including by deliberate handball, that player is not considered to have, quote, gained an advantage.
Okay.
So, because they ruled this was a deliberate handball, this was, to your point, Jarrett, would have been a penalty kick. The player who is in the offside position receives it directly from said handball, which I think may have been another thing they were maybe looking at to make sure it was like directly from the handball, but it was. Then essentially that player is not gaining the advantage. It's not his fault. He just happened to be standing there and our guy handled the ball and it fell right to him. So that's kind of where we came to. It's a little bit like applying advantage. A little bit. It's not quite the same.
Okay.
But in the sense that, oh, that's a handball. Oh, well, you got the ball right here. You can score. So while I don't love this new interpretation of the laws of the game, right? I don't love the way they've told referees to do it. Then that is what it is. David, we don't have those stipulations, right? So why was it not a handball, a red card? Because they didn't give a red card. I mean, because is this dog so? Maybe not, but it's definitely a handball penalty, handball denying a goal scoring opportunity inside the penalty area. It probably would have been a red card on Derek had they called it. And in this case,
who's to say we wouldn't have benefited?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so Jarrett's allowed to say bad things about Atlanta United defenders. I see how it is. So really what happened was I guess they can't. I mean, technically, David, you can give a red card for a handball period. Like that is always a handball does not fall into they're making a legitimate play. No, that doesn't happen. I think probably what happened was they said, well, he scored. We're good. Let's go.
Okay. Yeah. So, like I said,
again, I'm just going to say to answer David's question. Sorry again. It's not deliberate play like the Mickey disallowed goal because it's a handball.
Okay.
That's really what it comes down to. Basically, they ruled Derek Williams committed a handball offense. That handball offense led to the ball directly going to the attacking player. The attacking player who, yes, was in an offside position. It don't matter because we handled it and he scored. I will just say this.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe Atlanta United should have just, kicked the dadgum ball into the frickin' stands because that seems to be a continuing issue for this team as they just said, well, we don't really need to clear it, do we? Yes, you do.
Yes,
but you don't clear it. That's what happens. Right, Jarrett?
Yeah.
As I was saying, as you were coming on, I said, look, sometimes you win, sometimes you lose, sometimes you get beat. Sometimes you just get beat. 20 2019 Eastern Conference Final, you got beat by 2 golazos by Toronto in a game where you were better than them for 90 minutes. Sometimes stuff just happens. This was not one of those times. This was you had a weird situation. You didn't clear the ball. You did not clean up the trash. Shout out to Mighty Ducks 3. When they got rid of Gordon Bombay and got a real coach.
Wow.
Don't at me, nerds.
I mean, you're not wrong.
Look, their coach at Eaton Hall Academy taught them that the most important number they could put on that board was the 0, and that was the goals you gave up, and it taught them to clean up the trash and get things out of the zone and get back in the neutral zone. That being said, you had that weird thing.
Yes.
You had Luke Brennan show out.
Yeah.
Credit to Luke.
Yeah, and there was also
Alexander Onchuk looked great.
The third minute takedown of Luke that could have been considered a penalty.
The thing is, though,
I know it would have been a soft call. Don't get me wrong.
It would have been. Yeah. It would have been fine if not for the fact that same guy, same center back, pass the ball to the other team, and I'm still unsure why. And I am very strongly of the belief that as soon as you get your other center back online and get his body powered up, and as soon as Stian is ready to give you 90 minutes, that's going to be Stian and Mihai, and then your other center back you're bringing in, because I can't trust the other center back I have right now, who had been serviceable for the last year plus, but Father Time is catching up fast, and those are the kind of mistakes that happen when you're having a bad year and you start to find stability. Like overall, over 90 minutes, not 3-1. I thought it didn't flatter Atlanta. Like they were better than a 3-1 scoreline on the whole.
It was moments,
but your center back put you in 2 bad spots.
Yeah.
And Derek post match actually did address that, and he did.
I will say,
it, but
I want to say this in defense of Derek Williams, and the dude was not brought in to be a starter. I don't think that he certainly wasn't meant to be a starter for this long. If your Derek Williams is, the dude you bring in as a spot starter, that's fine. If he's we got to lock it down and protect a lead, fine. Right? The dude can clear a ball, that's fine. But Jared, I'm with you. Like, he just is at that age now, unfortunately, where you might be good one season, and the next season, it might just not be there.
By the way, he could leave Atlanta, go somewhere next year, and have a very good season spot starting for somebody. Yeah. Because the consistency is the thing that's going to fall off. Not to say that Derek is a bad player now, and that he has no business playing in the sport. The thing that's going to fall off hardest is that consistency. And it might go year to year. He might go somewhere next year and be a really solid depth piece for somebody.
Mm-hmm.
Which is fine. Good for him.
Yeah, I mean, it comes down to having to continually perform at that same level with that wear and tear that Derek has, plus the injuries he's coming off of, and all that kind of stuff. And
100%.
so it's injuries, consistency, and choice D, all of the above.
Now, do we want to talk about the goal or the penalty kick that should have stood?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Was that the one where Mahad got very lightly tackled?
He got tackled.
I thought if you called that against me, I would be upset and say that you called a very soft penalty.
Correct.
But there was contact, and if you went to the monitor to take that away, I have questions.
Yeah, and that's the other part in there.
I think this was a VAR issue, to be quite honest. I don't. Now, I will say I am not privy to conversations they have about VAR intervening for these types of plays where we go, this is a very common soccer thing, people fall down in the box a lot after being touched or held or whatever.
But we do need inside the VAR studio for moments like this, is what we need.
Right. And I don't think we're going to get that with CONCACAF because John, Jarrett, we've been around CONCACAF enough. And explanations CONCACAF.
The hell you say?
Explanations. What is this? Explanations and CONCACAF in the same sentence, sir?
Right. This is a case though where I would like to see that make the call over the PA system implemented, because I think I would have at least liked to see, like, after review, the player was falling down before the contact occurred. And at least I would have gone, sure. Because I think you can make that argument.
Yeah.
I don't like Warren Barton's comments on this because I think he is looking at it from the ref should not call that a foul versus is it a foul?
Yeah.
And I'm here to tell you it's a foul.
There is no should when it comes to monitoring a match. Bart, when you're in the middle, when your friends are in the middle, when those you watch are in the middle, you're not going, should I call that? That's not how the rule book works.
I will say this is one of the very few instances where you go, should I be calling this? But I thought the referee made it very clear from the jump. And that's why I had such a problem with VAR, is because the referee was looking dead at it.
Yeah.
And said, yeah, he grabbed him. He helped him to the ground at least. Let's put it that way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And he called it immediately.
It's one of the, to your point, it's one of those times where the lack of transparency is befuddling, I suppose.
Yeah, right.
Like, just give us the solid answer. And again, because I have to qualify this every time we do this on this show, that's not why Atlanta lost.
No, it's
because
not.
I feel like I have to qualify this I feel like I have to qualify this way too often, that when we talk about the failings of CONCACAF or officiating or pro, that's not why Atlanta lost. Atlanta lost because they weren't good enough. Atlanta lost because they could not hit a bull in the ass with a bass fiddle in front of goal, and because when push came to shove, they blinked.
Yeah.
I think to this point, or to your earlier point, Jarrett, this would have made the game look a little bit more favorable in Atlanta's opinion. And, we talk game state a lot. Possibly this would have affected the game state to the point where maybe Atlanta United at least gets to go to penalty kicks. Maybe you can talk about them winning, but
you're not chasing, and mentality is different if that PK is asserted, game state changes.
Right. But Atlanta United loves to put themselves in a position where they're chasing. And so therefore, to me, the game state should be normal for them, not something that they're, adjusting to.
Yes. So, all right. So let's think about this. So we had the Luke Brennan call, which would have been soft. 9 minutes later, we have a 5-minute review that turns itself inside out in 19 different ways until Sunday, which we literally spent, a good 30 to 40 minutes discussing before the two of you came on today and having my head explode. The Mihai takedown. And I mean, that's 3 separate PK calls in one match, and 2 of them impacting the home team in a match where they were chasing and all these kinds of things.
It's I forget what you called it. CCL fever in Leagues Cup. I forget what you called it.
I just called it Leagues Cup after dark.
There you go. But it's definitely a sickness that you might catch. It was sicko hour for sure.
Oh, no doubt.
Yes, always is.
Yes. Are there any other calls or anything, since we're mopping up reffing down here, and I know that we'll probably have more on Monday when you come back?
We will have more on Monday, I'm sure.
Is there anything else that we have missed philosophically when it comes to reffing down here, or anything like that? Any other moments that have stuck in your brain?
No, I think from that Atlanta United match, we needed to walk through that together, because I do think there were moments that we needed to just kind of digest in totality, but also individually. You can't eat a 3-course meal all at once. once. You have to digest it and eat it.
Not with that attitude, you
of
can't.
course. Well, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time.
Turn your plate. Turn your plate into the Devil's Tower and start chasing everything.
But I do think that the theological, philosophical takeaway is I think we do actually kind of like the referees coming on the PA system and making a call, because while we can then argue if it was right or not, you can at least go, well, that was the explanation.
Yeah, lacking information does not lend itself to intelligent arguments, and that's kind of what we want in a situation like this. Is we want to have
what
all.
What are you talking about, John? That's why we're in the political state of where
journalism. I know exactly. So, all right. So, do you have a Soccer for US POD coming out?
No, because we were supposed to record, and then someone decided to take a vacation. Not me.
That's not bad.
And I understand it's August. Take your vacation. So hopefully we're back next week.
I got mine coming up in 30. I have 36 hours coming up in 2 weeks, so I can understand where that's going.
I was like, yeah, okay, that makes sense. So hopefully next week we can all get together and talk about some things.
Yes. All right. So,
but at least our striker didn't headbutt somebody in the back of the head and basically.
Okay. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about it, Jarrett. Because if there is one thing that I have adopted this season, it is a little bit of hatred for that team up to the north on 85, because I've called them low down dirty cheaters. I stand by this, and I think this confirms it.
Yes, the Toklamati red. So he was 2/3 of the way to a Nuhu hat trick, goal assist.
He was begging to get sent off before that.
So Toklamati is, for those that didn't get the chance, it was a Toklamati red last night. So he'd scored. Match was out of control. It was 3-1, I think, at the time. Toklamati with 10 to go gets a red card. He decides he's going to headbutt some folks, and he gets a red, and then Juarez gets another goal to finish up at 4-1. But Bart, please continue.
This is, I think, again, just a great case of if you respond with stupidity, you don't allow the referee to address the stupidity that happened before that, because it was our good friend Rodolfo Pizarro who kicked him from behind or pushed him and tackled him and all these things. Multiple fouls committed on Toklamati, which I'm not saying he doesn't have a case to be upset, but had you not gone up and put your head against the other dude's head from behind, which was, again, just weird, it's probably Pizarro who's getting a yellow card, because the referee stopped play, called the foul for it. Like she did. You could see she kind of says, "Oh, that happened. Blow my whistle." There was another player, I forget who it was, who kind of kicked out at him as he was walking by. Juarez was doing, things that probably happen a lot in Juarez. Let's just put it that way. And the fact that he responded with a violent conduct type incident means that the referee is not able to go, okay, well, these players and these players, here's your yellow card. And it's possible, I'm not saying it would have, that Pizarro's incident would have gone to VAR.
Yeah, Pizarro pushes Toklamati.
Pushes is being nice.
And, I mean, literally, it's a good old push, and Toklamati goes down, gets in Pizarro's left ear, headbutts him right in front of the official.
Yep.
Literally, you have no excuse at that point. You've got to go to the pocket. I mean, literally, it's like headbutt, whistle, separation, bang, you're gone.
And she had to wait a little bit for things to clear down before giving the red card, but it's a red card. Don't do that in front of an official.
So here's the thing about them all, because you bring this up, and I brought this up in our green room, in that it's very funny to me that both Atlanta and Charlotte both have problems with mental weakness. They just have it in two different ways. Like Atlanta gets soft mentally. They don't respond well to adversity right now. Some of the individuals do. I think the academy kids have. I think Bartosz Szlich has responded well to adversity.
Which is why it's good we sold all of our academy kids.
That's why it honestly also, I think that's why you saw an exodus of some of the older players as well to clean up attitudes.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And I think more of that will be coming. More of that will be coming in the offseason, I suspect, because of contracts that are up and may or may not be renewed, or options that may or may not be picked up. Whoever makes the thank you graphic might be real busy. However,
still time in this window too.
There is still time in this window. But the problem is, again, it takes two to tango. You can't just say, I want to dump my roster. Okay, well, you have to have somebody who's going to take them, because you just burned one of your buyouts and Luis Abram, who had clearly fallen out of favor.
Yeah. And you've burned officially both of your oopsies now anyway. So
I will say that single move, the buying out Luis Abram, made me consider going back to games this season.
Wow.
But my point being, Atlanta's mental issues, I think, are a matter of softness and not being able to handle adversity, whereas Charlotte's mental issues seem to be, once you get under their skin,
yeah,
it's
they're very Orlando from the
buddy. Yes, that's just what I was thinking
2000s.
about.
Yep.
The Nani era Orlando teams that were just unhinged.
Yeah.
Zaha and Nani do have a little bit of traits that kind of overlap. You're right.
Yeah, and I'm sure everybody at MLS Digital is going to tell us how great Zaha is continuously again, while he's putting up Miguel Almiron's numbers, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right.
Well,
so, Bart, we'll see you on Monday, yes?
I'm sure we will, because there's a good chance we're going to have some refereeing down here as Leagues Cup. Look, I'll say this for Leagues Cup this year. For some reason, it feels a little bit more interesting. Now, part of that I attribute to, and I mean this sincerely, I think part of that is because the format makes more sense. I'm sorry. It just does. Why the hell are we playing DC United on a random Wednesday night for a game that has nothing to do with our league standings? I don't care. Playing 3 Liga MX teams makes a whole lot of sense. But it feels a little more combative. Let's just put it that way. It feels combative. It feels like people feel the stakes are on the line. Maybe because they see that Miami is weak and that it's not going to be just gifted to them this year. I don't know. But it does feel like there are some players who care a little bit more in this tournament, which means we're probably going to have some VAR to talk about, some referee decisions to talk about, and some stupidity to talk about.
Oh, I'm quite sure. I'm quite sure.
Hey, man. Shout out to friend of the city, Gonzalo Pineda, took Atlas within a very, very, very close VAR goal from pulling a draw out of Miami. Only 3 games into their season.
And that fourth, the fourth in the camera well underneath. So that was definitely the
No one thought that goal was onside except the person who put their hand up and made it count.
Absolutely true.
Plus, you also get games, Bart, like I don't know if you stayed up for Seattle last night, but you also get games like that.
I did not. I went to bed at the conclusion of the Colorado. Who were they playing? Crap, Santos game.
Yeah,
which
Santos
was
Laguna.
Very fun. Very fun.
Great game.
So I did not watch Seattle absolutely thrash Cruz Azul.
Yes.
Which I'm sad I didn't.
Yes.
What a shame.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, dang, that sucks.
Okay, so Tom Mayo, being the center of the Leagues Cup universe, he's going to have to. He has sent yet another rain check, so he'll be with us next week as we break down everything. I think Tom was like,
he might be picking up whatever's left of Cruz Azul from last night.
Yeah. And as I mentioned to Maddie to kind of turn the show into an entire circle. So yeah, we'll have Tom on next week. So I mentioned to Maddie for Cruz Azul, there was one player in particular that did not make the match day roster. Guess who that was? For Cruz Azul.
Would it have been our good pal Yorgos Yakimakis?
Yeah, it rhymes with that. Yeah, absolutely, it does. Yeah, you had three dudes who had triple digits, and you did not have him. I think you had Matty Bogusz on the game day roster, but you did not have the player that rhymes with Korgis Kakamaklis. You did not have him on the game.
There's no good way to rhyme that name, sir.
I was trying.
There's not.
Dude.
Hey, look, I think if you're Atlanta United, you go. I'm just going to give my prognosis for the rest of this tournament. finish above Charlotte.
See,
there you go. Because right now we're a goal ahead of them. So
Yeah.
you know they're gonna be playing without a striker. Well, I guess not fully without a striker, but
but that's the thing. It's like
on a suspension.
They are though. They had 2 strikers. They sold one of them. They sold Patrick.
You will put a player. Yes, you put a player in that spot.
True, but Toklomati.
They convinced somebody to give them $9 million for Patrick Agyemang.
Yeah, Derby County.
I understand why David Tepper has so much money right now.
But now he just wants to throw, and he'll throw liquid at people when he wants to.
That too.
Yes, that's my goal for Atlanta United: finish above Charlotte.
All right.
Yeah, maybe could happen if you get a good result down in Orlando.
Everyone have fun. Enjoy your Capri Suns and your Rice Krispie treats you get after the game.
Yes, absolutely true. Bart, we will see you on Monday.
Yeah.
He's like, given the first round, given the first round of games, yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely true.
Yes.
No worries. All right, so Bart, we will see you on Monday, and enjoy your coffee.
All right, bye, y'all.
All right, there goes Bart. So Jarrett, it is. I want to go over the standings in Leagues Cup.
I'm actually short timing, so.
All right, well then go ahead and
I'm
go.
so sorry.
Get the hell out of here.
I'm sorry.
Then get the hell out.
Bye.
Bye. There goes Jarrett. Fine. Get the hell out of here. All right, fine. All right, and then I'll say hi to everybody and look at the Twitch pitch. All right, here's your standings after match day one. Your top 4: Tigres, Juarez, Puebla, and Necaxa. And once again, it is goals scored. And it is goals scored, not goal difference. Okay, so it is goals scored that looks like it is your number one tiebreaker. So it is Tigres, Juarez, Puebla, Necaxa, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Pachuca, who I imagine is the 19th column down. That's why they're in 5th. Toluca, Mazatlan, Pumas, America, León, Monterrey, Atlas, Santos, Chivas, Tijuana, Querétaro, Atlético San Luis, and Cruz Azul is dead blank in last, because I imagine goal difference is after goals scored. MLS, it is obviously Seattle, then it's Portland, LAG. Oh, so it is goal difference. Okay, because I was shorted a column when it comes to Liga MX. So it is Tigres, Juarez, Puebla, Necaxa, 1, 2, 3, 4. Goal difference and goals scored. So Seattle, Portland, Galaxy, Minnesota, +7, +4, +3, +3. Galaxy have scored 5 goals, and Minnesota have only scored 4. Minnesota is 4th, and then they're at +3. Cincinnati is at +1, but they have more goals scored than Messi and friends. So right now, Seattle, Portland, LAG, and Minnesota, Tigres, Juarez, Puebla, and Necaxa. So that is where that's where it is. For the rest of Major League Soccer, Cincy, Messi and friends, Colorado, Red Bulls, RSL, CF Montreal, Columbus, LAFC, Orlando. Then you have San Diego, Atlanta, Houston, Charlotte, and NYC FC. That's your standings. LeaguesCup.com/standings. Like I said, we'll try and catch up with Tom. We'll catch up with Tom next week. Like I said, one of the busiest men in show business right now, especially with Leagues Cup being what it is. And thanks to our buddy Kirk Morrison at MLS Soccer for letting us hang out with Gio Savarese to start things off. All right, let's take the tour and go through all of the news. Obviously, one of the other things that we're keeping an eye on is obviously Morecambe in the lower divisions, and it is not good. Right now, it looks like without and this is Josh Halliday from The Guardian. The club faces a total collapse by Monday unless the owner agrees to sell up, according to the shareholders. Fans say they're about to lose everything, with a 105-year-old institution facing closure on Monday. Shareholders in the club said it would officially shut down, face total collapse unless the owner agreed to sell. Statement: prospective buyers and minority shareholders said the club had $0 in the bank, £0 in the bank, no cash on site, meaning operations cannot continue. You add to that, they could be in the same category as Barry, Macclesfield, Sheffield Wednesday, and Bolton. Sheffield Wednesday is going through it right now. They might be next in the queue. Labour MP from Morecambe and Lunesdale said earlier this morning, devastated by the crisis, damage being done worsening every day. Jason Whittingham, an Essex businessman, appeared to renege on a deal with a London-based investment firm planning to sell instead to a mystery third party. Weeks of delay led to the club being suspended until at least the 20th of August by the National League. And they can't play their first 3 fixtures, and that was supposed to kick off this week. The Labour MP was urging the owner to sell. Pubs and cafes already suffering from the lack of football. All junior level operations at the club ended today due to a lack of insurance. And so that is where Morecambe is right now. Obviously, keep an eye on that. You also have, apparently, according to the Guardian, Scottish clubs owing more than £22 million to the government in COVID loans. You've got, like I said, I'm blowing through the headlines here just to kind of see what if there's anything that we might have missed. Yeah, Everton's £27 million bid for Josh Dibbling turned down by Southampton. Let's see. We mentioned Lucas Paquetá yesterday. League One, remember, League One, Championship, League Two in England starting today, and that stuff will be all over the that'll be all over the Paramount Pluses and all the networks and everything. So Chelsea complete the Garnacho background checks. Spurs have agreed on the deal with Paulinho. Newcastle will not be bullied into selling Alexander Isak after the Liverpool bid was rejected. We mentioned Paquetá. We mentioned fantasy. Gyökeres adding muscle to Arsenal in a preseason defeat from Spurs. And I think that'll do it. Once again, real quick. We didn't want to talk to Jared anyway. Yeah. All right. So let me say hi to everybody before we get out of here for yet another week. And it was a really cool week to have everybody around. Remember, go to the Brew House, 4 to 9 today. It's the celebration of the summer series. Go to the Brew House Cafe website. Get your tickets if you want RSVP and you want VIP status. And that means that you get a seat indoors and, you might get to cool off a little bit. A lot of activity going on in the parking lot. So find a place to park. Parking probably is going to be at a premium. But go to the Brew House. Maddie will be there. Kevin Egan will be there. We'll be there kind of hanging out and hanging around. But Maddie's going to talk to fans of the 4 clubs. Kevin Egan's got Wes Brown. We'll have an interview with Wes Brown posted to the SDH network. We're also catching up with our friends at El Fadelito as they get ready for the NPSL Championship. And we will catch you up with everything with that later this afternoon. That is at 8 o'clock tomorrow at Kezar Stadium in San Francisco. It is Hickory FC. It is El Fadelito, and we're going to catch up with El Fadelito later today, and that'll be posted to the SDH networks. Let's see. So morning Lokeville, morning Abby, morning Michael. Let's see. Morning Alex. And Abby is saying looks like Alzate might be announced today. Keep an eye out for your 5 stripes don't stops. And let's see. Trying to see who else here. Alex mentioning Isak, Michael Head. Abby with the weather report. Yeah, the match starts at 9. The match with Atlanta United and Pumas allegedly starting at 9 o'clock. Allegedly. That's if everything goes according to plan. Match goes 90 minutes, no extra time, no thunderstorms, no none of that. Allegedly at 9 o'clock. 5 stripes countdown at 8 o'clock with Maddie and Abe, and a full hour of the full-time report after the match. So it'll be in the midnight hour by the time they're done, involving Atlanta United and Pumas on Saturday from Orlando. So, yes, 9 o'clock in a perfect world. So 9:10. 9:10 start in the Purple Barn against Pumas for match day 2. Let's see. Alex and Abby and Shopping and David and Michael. And I saw Ropes was in here as well. Trying to see once again if I've missed everybody. Once again, here's the invite for what's going on at the Morning Commando, by the way. Commando's Alexa didn't go off when I tried to summon. Let's see. Alex and Abby. There's Ropes and David and Ricky Ricardo. Good morning. There's Ropes again. I'm trying to scan through and trying to see if I have missed anybody. Yeah, we didn't want to talk to Jared anyway, but there's your way to get into the fest from 4 to 9 at the Brew House. Go to the Brew House Cafe, go to Eventbrite, get the RSVPs and the VIPs and all that kind of stuff. And really looking forward to that on the day. And so very, very cool there. I don't want it expanded. It's like, how do I minimize things? It's like, no, I don't want that. And then, no. Anyway, all right. So I'm trying for the life of me to figure out how, in the wide world of sports, there's a way that I can minimize things, but because I have like 19 different things that are blocked, I'm trying to, no, I don't want a new link. I'm just trying to hide message. Thank you. Goodness gracious. All right. That'll do it for yet another week. Once again, we're catching up with the twos coming up in a little bit. That'll be a part of a very, very busy weekend. Twos on Sunday, summer series. We're there. Hopefully we'll see a lot of you there as well. Very, very busy, and apparently supposed to be like in the 70s because the weather is supposed to be cold and rainy. So dress appropriately if you're coming to summer series at Mercedes-Benz on Sunday. Purple Barn, Atlanta, and Pumas on Saturday. Mike and Jason will have the call from Orlando. Hopefully it'll be on time. So that's another go-around of another week of SDH AM. Thanks to Gio Savarese. Thanks to our friends at MLS. We'll catch up with Tom Mayo next week and find out anything and everything there is about Leagues Cup. Since it is the end of the week, you know what that means. We can only say thanks for hanging out with us one way and one way only. Mucho Platiel, play it safe. It's the end of the week. We'll see you this weekend. We'll see you tonight at the Brew House. Play it safe, everybody. Mucho Platiel.
The war was on. The keys on the typewriter had sharp points that kept sticking into our fingers. The dictating equipment started asking us questions, and our beepers sent electric shocks just through our body like a cattle prod. Out in the warehouse, the trucks kept banging into the docks, not even thinking about stopping. Oh, our frail bodies were strapped to the chairs, and our chairs were chained to the desks. Our pleas for justice were ignored, and the end seemed near. But we busted our slave drivers' little bitty balls. We've charged out of their brick fortress, the streets are